welcome back. We're out here in the woods, and it's spring here in Michigan, which apparently does not mean warm weather. We have shut down the wood boiler up there. You can almost see it up there on the hill. We ran out of the seasoned wood and wood that I had set aside and split and cut for this season, and so we shut it down. We almost made it to April, but not quite. We usually try to run to April 1st with the wood boiler. We were a few weeks short, but we've done better than we've ever done. So today we're out here in what we call the valley. This is it's a valley right in the south side of our house, and there's a ton of trees in here. There's trees down, there's dead standing, there's all kinds of wood in here. So today the goal is to get out here and find some seasoned wood. We're gonna go out into the woods here. We're gonna take a look at some dead standing. We're gonna look at some dead falls. We're gonna look at what's seasoned, what's not. We're gonna do some moisture testing, and we'll kind of figure out what we can get and how to determine whether wood is ready to burn or not. We want it to be pretty seasoned for indoor wood stoves. So we want it to be, we don't want green wood, and I don't want stuff that's soaking wet. I've already cut some stuff up. We'll do some tests, and we'll see where we can find the best seasoned wood. Look at all this wood. It is just crazy how much wood is down in here. If we don't get it, it rots and goes to waste. We need to get to work. It's important to kind of know your forest too. I'll get out and walk through here often and kind of take note of what's what. See, I've got a tree, this oak, these white oaks. It has like 4 trunks, and one of them split off. Now I noticed that split off just this year, so I know that's not seasoned. It's dead, but it just happened in the fall, so I know that's not dry. I could cut that up right now. It'd be just as wet as if it was live, so I know that's not going to be ready to burn, so I'm going to leave that. I've got a lot of wood that has fallen and just sit in this water. This is dead, but it's going to be soaking wet. Got a tree here that fell. This has been here for a couple years, and you can see it died and rotted out at the bottom. This would be decent. It's still solid. It doesn't seem like it's been sitting in the water, so it's actually been off the ground a little bit in most places. So this here is a prime deadfall. This is probably, although I see some bugs and things have made holes in it, so we're gonna have some water on the outside, but this should be burnable. So we'll check this. We'll get some cuts on this and check it. We also have some standing dead. So we've got this right here. This is definitely dead. I've been keeping an eye on this. This has been here for a few years. And what happens, you'd think, oh, this is great, dead, you know, it's gonna be nice and dry, but see how that top's broken off like that? That's a perfect spot to catch water, and that water just soaks into this tree. This whole top section is probably gonna be not burnable. Now I could get some out of this if it's not rotted. That water gets in the center and it rots it out from the inside. You can tell at least the bark has come off of this, so I know it's been dead for a while, and that's what you want to look for. And this will just fall over. So we might get some burnable wood out of this. I can cut this up and test it, and this might do. So I cut a few down already. We're going to test, so let's get the moisture meter out and we'll test some of these. So that one came from that stump right there. We can see that this had some bark on it, but most of the bark had fallen off. Now, some of it's been sitting in the water here as I cut it. I'm not going to test that. I'll test the stuff that's dry. And I cut one down up here as well. And this one had a flat top. And so you'll see, I'll show you how rotten that top piece is. Now, I've fallen for this many times. This is an oak tree, another piece of that tree that fell a couple years ago, and I cut this up. And I have thought in the past, well, if I cut this up, this is dead. It's been sitting here for a long time. It's gonna be nice and seasoned. I can split this up and burn it. These logs like this do not dry out. This stuff will not be seasoned. So fresh cut on the stump, lowest point, tree that's been dead for a couple years. Let's see what our moisture is. Now, anything's burnable. You get the fire hot enough, you can throw wet wood in there, but it's not great. It's not gonna burn clean, and it's gonna end up causing your chimney to get real dirty real quick. What we're looking for, under 25%. I mean, 15% is ideal, but under 25. 27.6, so that's considered high. So this is just one cut higher. This was when I cut the tree. About the same, 27 at the heart. So again, considered high moisture. Now let's go up a little bit further. So here's a piece that was cut. This is about maybe 6 feet up higher from the stump. Now we're down to 18. So I know this is considered high. Anything over 15% is, but I'll split this in half. these ones right here, or I might just throw this whole piece in. This is gonna burn just fine. So let's test one more. Let's test a section that was up towards the top where a lot of that moisture is was seeping in from the top of this tree. Well, let's see where that's at. I mean, this is just soaking wet. That water starts to rot this out, and that wood holds water. So you're at 29. I mean, this stuff is on the sides is just soaked. 50. Oh, it doesn't even measure that high. Just depending on how picky you are about your indoor fireplace, you might not want to burn this. This is gonna create a lot of creosote. It's not gonna burn that good. So the lowest spot on the tree, the trunk, that stuff has not had a great chance to completely dry out. The further you go up, the drier it's gonna be. And the center section of this whole tree that was down here, all of this right here, this stuff's gonna be right around 15-16%. And that to me is perfect to burn. Some of these top pieces that are gonna be a little bit wetter, I'll throw that into a hotter fire, or I'll just disregard it altogether. That stuff right there was the very top of this tree, and that's gonna be wetter even yet. So when I'm looking for stuff to burn that I wanna burn right away, I'm looking for this. Bark's gone, standing dead, the center section of the tree, this right here, all right here is gonna be real good to burn. This right here is a tree that fell down about 2 years ago. Now this has been completely suspended. So let's cut this up and let's see how we are for moisture. Okay, let's start at the end here at the top of this tree. So before this thing fell, remember it was standing up straight, and a lot of that water on the top part of this tree rotted it out. However, since it's been laying here off the ground, it may have dried out. 25, so not too bad. That's still, I would definitely burn that. This is about 8 to 10 feet up the tree, or down the tree, I guess you could say. The top is that way. This is down from the top. So you can see watermarks in here, and I think the tree was sitting on the ground like this. So I have a feeling if the rain and moisture hit the top, and that's how it soaked in to this. But we'll see. Let's check the bottom part here. So we're at 18 there. So that's, to me, that would be burnable. Let's check the top here. So I measured off the scale. So the top piece of this is real wet, how it sat. And this was all in the air. This was all off the ground here. So none of this was sitting on the ground. So this is just the top of this log, the water just soaking in through this bark. That's nice down there. So maybe I could split all these in half, disregard the top half or let it dry out, and then use the bottom half for now. You'd think that the water would penetrate more through the grain this way, but it still is. This whole top half of this log is wet. Here we're right at the trunk. About a foot up from my first cut. I'm feeling this is going to be a little bit green still. It's actually not bad. 22, 21 on the inside, 19. This denser wood down here seems like it prevented the water from soaking in. So I don't see that same kind of effect as we saw at the bottom. Last one I want to test before we go burn some of this is this one here. So this has been laying here for probably 3+ years, maybe longer. It was not all off the ground. Some of it was a little off the ground, about 2 feet down from the top. And you can see the moisture in it. Well, let's see what it says. 37. So this is just wet. So this isn't ideal to burn up here. I mean, these feel pretty heavy for how dead they are. It should be like, real light at this point, even oak. So this is holding a ton of moisture because it's been sitting here. This has gone too far. Now this would be good if this were stacked and dried somewhere, but I wouldn't necessarily want to burn too much of this right now. So a lot of the things that I thought about wood deadfalls and standing dead And a lot of this wood out here was not true. If you want to find the best wood to burn right now that's going to be under 25%, or at least close to that, it looks like standing dead, the center section, so about 3 feet, 4 feet up from the bottom, about 3-4 feet in from the top of that standing dead, that center section seems to be the driest. Even the trees that are sitting out here off the ground that have been dead for years that I thought would be perfectly dried out, that water's still getting in there and it's still making those trees wet and rotting them out. That makes me change my strategy here for getting this wood. It's actually more important that I get this wood out of here quicker because it's rotting. And I thought it was seasoning out, you know, sitting up here. These trees that are off the ground, I thought, oh man, they're going to season out great, it'll be ready to burn. But that's not the case. Well, it's time to collect up the good stuff. I'll take everything that I cut up and I'll sort it out a little bit at the top. Some of the stuff I'm going to split, some of the bigger stuff, a lot of them I'm just going to stack right in the garage. And then let's get inside and start a fire. It's freezing cold out here. One full face cord, actually more than that, of stacked, mostly dry, ready to burn wood.